Good morning. I'm Diane Griffin, and I'm the Vice President of the National Academy of Sciences, and one of my jobs in that job is to chair the Committee on Scientific Programs, which organizes this type of component for the annual meeting. And so I'm very pleased to introduce the person who has actually organized the symposium and will moderate the symposium this morning on deep learning and artificial intelligence, who's Dr. William Press, who's the Raymer Professor of Computer Science at the University of Texas at Austin, and he's also the treasurer of the NAS. So with no further ado, the symposium organization has been done by Bill.
Thanks, Diane. I want to set just a very small amount of context so that we can get to the first of 5 great speakers we have for you this morning. I want you to, if you're a physicist or a chemist, imagine that the year is 1925, and the Bohr atom has been around for more than a decade, but we don't really understand the implications of this new quantum mechanics. And just this year, Heisenberg and Schrödinger have each published papers, very different papers, that promise to make quantum mechanics not simply a peculiarity of the hydrogen atom, but something that can overtake all of physics. Now, if you're a biologist, I want you to imagine that the year is, well, somewhere between, say, 1953, so that we know the structure of DNA thanks to Watson and Crick, but it's not yet 1961 when Marshall Nierenberg and others elucidated the genetic code. But we have this feeling that the whole field of biology is in a huge flux, is changing very rapidly, and we're going to understand life in a fundamental way that we've never been able to understand before. Now I want you to go to the year 2017, and by analogy, that's where we are in computer science in general, but also in artificial intelligence in particular. We're at a time of amazing, rapid change whose ramifications we don't fully understand, but as you'll hear today, with amazing successes of very general natures. Now, in organizing this symposium, it seemed to me that there were kind of 2 tracks. We could take one of 2 tracks. I'll tell you the track that we decided not to take. That was the one where we would get some pundits who are good at talking about the future that nobody really knows what's going to happen. And we would sit around and talk about some very interesting and possibly scary things. We would talk about, will artificial intelligence result in a massive loss of jobs to humans, or possibly a more optimistic picture where there'll be a net creation of jobs? But if you want to hear these talks, you know, go to the web and find the TED Talks where people talk about that the robots will take over the Earth, and maybe we're approaching the singularity. The singularity, as I'm sure you know, which was an idea first brought forth by the statistician I.J. Good, then popularized for a time by John von Neumann and more recently by Ray Kurzweil. That's the idea that if we create artificially intelligent machines, at some point they'll be able to create themselves and they'll become exponentially more intelligent, and the human brain will become rather irrelevant to the future. Okay, so we could probably have put together a program to leave you not knowing much more really than when you left than when you came in, but you might be a whole lot more scared when you left than when you came in. But we've actually decided not to do that at all. What we've decided is we would like you to leave the symposium today actually knowing more than when you came in, and actually having some understanding of what's under the hood in this explosion of both interest and progress in artificial intelligence. And so to that aim, we're going to bring you we are bringing you 5 speakers who really are the people advancing the frontiers of the field, and we've also chosen people who are known for their ability to communicate the science about what they're doing. So I think I'll simply introduce each one in turn so as not to take more time now. The first speaker is Rob Fergus. He's a research scientist at Facebook in AI research, and he's also associate professor of computer science at NYU. I should just remark, it's very typical in this field for people to have both an academic connection and an industrial connection, and that's simply a sign of how rapidly this field is advancing and pushing into real life and out of academia. So with that, Rob, please.